ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्।
सिद्धिविनायक मंगलदाता,
सिद्धिविनायक मंगलदाता,
सिद्धिविनायक मंगलदाता,
सिद्धिविनायक मंगलदाता,
बुद्धिप्रदायक गणनाथा, बुद्धिप्रदायक गणनाथा, सिद्धिविनायक मंगलदाता,
सिद्धिविनायक मंगलदाता,
विघ्नहरण प्रभु विघ्नेश्वर तुम,
विघ्नहरण प्रभु विघ्नेश्वर तुम,
विघ्नहरण प्रभु विघ्नेश्वर तुम,
विघ्नहरण प्रभु विघ्नेश्वर तुम,
गौरी नंदन हे जगवंदन,
गौरी नंदन हे जगवंदन,
गौरी नंदन हे जगवंदन, नमोस्तुते नमोस्तुते, नमोस्तुते नमोस्तुते, सिद्धिविनायक मंगलदाता,
सिद्धिविनायक मंगलदाता,
बुद्धिप्रदायक गणनाथा,
गणनाथा,
सिद्धिविनायक मंगलदाता,
सिद्धिविनायक मंगलदाता,
विघ्नहरण प्रभु विघ्नेश्वर तुम,
विघ्नहरण प्रभु विघ्नेश्वर तुम,
गौरी नंदन हे जगवंदन,
हे जगवंदन,
नमोस्तुते नमोस्तुते,
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 सिद्धिविनायक गुरुदेवा शरणं देवा गुरुदेवा शरणं देवा पाहि प्रभो शरणं देवा पाहि प्रभो शरणं देवा गुरुदेवा शरणं देवा सुन्दररूपा श्री साई देवा सुन्दररूपा श्री साई देवा शरणं शरणं सद्गुरुदेवा शरणं शरणं सद्गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा शरणं देवा पाहि प्रभो शरणं देवा गुरुदेवा शरणं देवा सुन्दररूपा श्री साई देवा शरणं शरणं सद्गुरुदेवा शरणं शरणं सद्गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा शरणं देवा
देवी साई माँ, देवी सरस्वती माँ,
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 दुर्गा भवानी माँ, काली कपालिनी
दुर्गा भवानी माँ, काली कपालिनी माँ,
दुर्गा भवानी माँ, काली कपालिनी माँ,
दुर्गा भवानी माँ, काली कपालिनी माँ,
जगदोधारिणी माँ,
जगदोधारिणी माँ,
जगदोधारिणी माँ,
जगदोधारिणी माँ,
सत्य साई दया करो माँ, सरस्वती माँ।
देवी सरस्वती माँ,
दुर्गा भवानी माँ, काली कपालिनी माँ।
दुर्गा भवानी माँ, काली कपालिनी माँ,
जगदोधारिणी माँ,
जगदोधारिणी माँ,
सत्य साई दया करो माँ।
सत्य साई दया करो माँ,
सत्य साई दया करो माँ।
सत्य साई दया करो माँ।
देवी साई माँ, देवी सरस्वती माँ। राधिका जीवना,
राधिका जीवना,
राधिका जीवना,
राधिका जीवना,
कृष्ण जनार्दना,
कृष्ण जनार्दना,
कृष्ण जनार्दना,
कृष्ण जनार्दना,
राधे गोविंदा, राधे गोपाला,
राधे गोविंदा, राधे गोपाला,
राधे गोविंदा, राधे गोपाला,
राधे गोविंदा, राधे गोपाला,
देवकी नंदना,
देवकी नंदना,
देवकी नंदना,
देवकी नंदना,
नंद नंदना, हे गोपिका रंजना,
नंदना, हे गोपिका रंजना,
नंद नंदना, हे गोपिका रंजना,
नंदना, हे गोपिका रंजना,
मुरली मोहना,
मुरली मोहना,
मुरली मोहना,
मुरली मोहना,
श्री मधुसूदना,
श्री मधुसूदना,
कृष्ण कृष्ण श्री मधुसूदना,
कृष्ण कृष्ण श्री मधुसूदना,
राधिका जीवना,
राधिका जीवना,
कृष्ण जनार्दना,
कृष्ण जनार्दना,
राधे गोविंदा, राधे गोपाला,
राधे गोविंदा, राधे गोपाला,
देवकी नंदना,
ಹರಿನಾರಾಯಣ 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 ಸಾಯಿ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಹರಿನಾರಾಯಣ ಸಾಯಿ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಹರಿನಾರಾಯಣ 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 ಜಯ ಹರಿನಾರಾಯಣ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಜಯ ಸಾಯಿ ನಾರಾಯಣ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಹರಿನಾರಾಯಣ 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 ಸಾಯಿ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಹರಿನಾರಾಯಣ ಹರಿನಾರಾಯಣ ಜಯ ಹರಿನಾರಾಯಣ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಜಯ ಸಾಯಿ ನಾರಾಯಣ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಹರಿನಾರಾಯಣ ಹರಿನಾರಾಯಣ ಶಂಭೋ ಶಂಕರ ಶಿವ ಶಂಭೋ ಶಂಕರ
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 ಶಂಭೋ ಶಂಕರ ಸಾಂಬ ಸದಾ 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 ಶಿವ ಶಂಭೋ ಶಂಕರ
ಪರ್ತಿ ನಾಯಕ ಪರಮೇಶ ಪಾಹಿ ಮಾ
ಭಕ್ತಿ ನಾಯಕ ಪರಮೇಶ ಪಾಹಿ ಮಾ
ಪರ್ತಿ ನಾಯಕ ಪರಮೇಶ ಪಾಹಿ ಮಾ
ಭಕ್ತಿ ನಾಯಕ ಪರಮೇಶ ಪಾಹಿ ಮಾ
ಪರ್ತಿ ನಾಯಕ ಪರಮೇಶ ಪಾಹಿ ಮಾ
ಭಕ್ತಿ ನಾಯಕ ಪರಮೇಶ ಪಾಹಿ ಮಾ
ಶಂಭೋ ಶಂಕರ ಸಾಂಬ ಸದಾ ಶಿವ ಶಂಭೋ ಶಂಕರ
ಶಂಭೋ ಶಂಕರ ಸಾಂಬ ಸದಾ ಶಿವ ಶಂಭೋ ಶಂಕರ
ಶಂಭೋ ಶಂಕರ ಸಾಂಬ ಸದಾ ಶಿವ ಶಂಭೋ ಶಂಕರ
ಶಂಭೋ ಶಂಕರ
शिव शम्भो शङ्करा
शम्भो शङ्कर साम्ब सदा शिव शम्भो शङ्करा
पर्तिनायका परमेशा पाहि माम्
पर्तिनायका परमेशा पाहि माम्
पर्तिनायका परमेशा पाहि माम्
पर्तिनायका परमेशा पाहि माम्
शम्भो शङ्कर साम्ब सदा शिव शम्भो शङ्करा
शम्भो शङ्कर साम्ब सदा शिव शम्भो शङ्करा
शम्भो शङ्कर साम्ब सदा शिव शम्भो शङ्करा
शम्भो शङ्कर साम्ब सदा शिव शम्भो शङ्करा शम्भो शङ्करा शिव शम्भो शङ्करा
कृष्ण कृष्ण गोविंद कृष्ण गोपाल बाल कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण गोविन्द कृष्ण गोपाल बाल कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण गोविंद कृष्ण गोपाल बाल कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण गोविन्द कृष्ण गोपाल बाल कृष्ण
नंद नंदना भक्त चंदना गान लोल 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 कृष्ण
सुंदर वदना सरोज नयना राधा प्रिय 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 कृष्ण
यादव कृष्ण यशोद कृष्ण सत्य साई 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 कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण गोविंद कृष्ण गोपाल बाल कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण गोविंद कृष्ण गोपाल बाल कृष्ण
नंद नंदना भक्त चंदना गान लोल कृष्ण
नंद नंदना भक्त चंदना गान लोल कृष्ण
सुंदर वदना सरोज नयना राधा प्रिय कृष्ण
सुंदर वदना सरोज नयना राधा प्रिय कृष्ण
यादव कृष्ण यशोद कृष्ण सत्य साई 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 कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण गोविंद कृष्ण गोपाल बाल कृष्ण श्रीनिवास श्री वेंकटेश
श्रीनिवास श्री वेंकटेश
श्रीनिवास श्री वेंकटेश
श्रीनिवास श्री वेंकटेश
बालाजी गोविंद साईशा
बालाजी गोविंद साईशा
बालाजी गोविंद साईशा
बालाजी गोविंद साईशा
श्रीनिवास श्री वेंकटेश
श्रीनिवास श्री वेंकटेश
परम दयाला तिरुमलवा
ईशा पद्मालक्ष्मी वल्लभ ईशा
पद्मालक्ष्मी वल्लभ ईशा
पद्मालक्ष्मी वल्लभ ईशा
पुण्डरीकाक्षा पाप विनाशा
पुण्डरीकाक्षा पाप विनाशा
पुण्डरीकाक्षा पाप विनाशा
पुण्डरीकाक्षा पाप विनाशा
श्रीनिवासा श्री वेंकटेशा
श्रीनिवासा श्री वेंकटेशा
बालाजी गोविंद साईशा
बालाजी गोविंद साईशा
श्रीनिवासा श्री वेंकटेशा
श्रीनिवासा श्री वेंकटेशा
परम दयाला तिरुमलवासा
परम दयाला तिरुमलवासा
पद्मालक्ष्मी वल्लभ ईशा
पद्मालक्ष्मी वल्लभ ईशा
पुण्डरीकाक्षा पाप विनाशा
पुण्डरीकाक्षा पाप विनाशा
पुण्डरीकाक्षा पाप विनाशा
पुण्डरीकाक्षा पाप विनाशा
श्रीनिवासा श्री वेंकटेशा
गिरिधर गोपाला हे गिरिधर गोपाला हे गिरिधर गोपाला गिरिधर गोपाला हे गिरिधर गोपाला माधव मुरहर मधुर मनोहर गिरिधर गोपाला मधुर मनोहर गिरिधर गोपाल हे गिरिधर गोपाला हे गिरिधर गोपाला हे गिरिधर गोपाला कुमारा नवनीत चोरा बृंदावनम संचारा भक्तोद्धारा बालगोपाला भक्तोद्धारा बालगोपाला गिरिधर कुमारा नवनीत चोरा बृंदावनम संचारा భక్తోద్ధారా బాలగోపాల గిరిధర గోపాల గోపరిపాల గోపీలోలా రాధా హృదయ విహార నందకుమార బృందావన సంచార గిరిధర గోపాల
గిరిధర గోపాల
Sairam sir, the Department of Orthopedics started in the year 2006, and even though it is one of the younger departments in the hospital, we do know for a fact that it has come a long way given the number of cases and the type of cases that this department has done. Maybe you can share a little about the initial days of the department and where we have reached in the last 5-6 years.
See, this department was started in during Guru Purnima Day on July 2006. The orthopedic facilities in and around 200 kilometers of the radius of Puttaparthi, you don't have anything. So all the patients used to go to Bangalore to have treatment for them. Even in the super specialty hospital here, we never had an orthopedic setup. Few orthopedic surgeries were done initially by the chairman of our department without an established orthopedic department. And there were prayers to Bhagwan to start the department. There were constant prayers from last 8 years, 10 years. So every time you go to Bhagwan and pray and he says you wait. Okay, so ultimately the concept was conceived by him. And he said, Acha, you go and start the department. Everybody was thinking our department will be started in Bangalore. That was the initial concept. But finally Swami told the department must be started in Puttaparthi. Obviously because this facilitates the rural population here who are devoid of an advanced orthopedic care. So when we started this department, the project report of the department was given somewhere in March, April, and department was to begin in July. So you have hardly any 3-4 months of time. There was no infrastructure as to start the department. There was no operation room. There was no OPD. Okay. And finally the places were spotted where we should do the OPD, where we should do the OT, things like that. Absolutely there was nothing in place. So this entire operation theatre complex, what you are seeing, this is an modular operation theatre complex. This is a state of the art situation. Very few hospitals in India have this type of hospital or this type of operation room. This looks like something, looks like a spacecraft for you. Okay. So this has to be placed in position. So probably Swami has thought well before. There were these operation theatres were there here, but not utilized. So all were in pieces. It has to be assembled together. So all these things were bought from Italy and Rome, things like that. They are not made in India. So they were here about 15 years back. So Swami said this will be for a neurosurgery, but neurosurgery never got off here. It went to Bangalore. So probably this was reserved for orthopedics. So we had to place this. There was nothing here, not even the AC system, things like that. So during the initial periods of phase, initial periods of the establishing the infrastructure for the department, all these were made within a period of 2 or 3 months, which is unimaginable. To put an air conditioning system in the operation room, air conditioning specialists were called. They said, oh, no way that we can do it in 2 or 3 months. At least we need 4 to 5 months of time to do everything together. But it so happened that probably Bhagwan sent one more guy. He said within 1 week I can do the air conditioning here. So within 1 week the air conditioning was put here. So even on the day of admission and the day of starting of this department, a day before, equipment did not arrive. So a day before the equipment arrived, just the night before the start of the department. So everything was in place on the day of inauguration. We were so worried the things were not in place. Then we have invited Bhagwan to inaugurate the department. Where is the infrastructure? But just before the day of the so-called inauguration, everything was in place. So probably it started with that miracle. So to put a high-tech orthopedic facility in place, you need not less than 1 or 2 years of groundwork as well as the infrastructure. So here, first itself, it just took 2 to 3 months to get the infrastructure in place. So that is the first miracle with which the department started. So following which, then the doctors, to obtain the doctors also is not an easy situation. So we had only 2 senior doctors, Dr. Vardachari and Dr. Kailash Rao. Then only with 2 doctors, the department started. So I joined just about 15 days after starting of the department. So we were only 3 to start with. Dr. Varadachari is based usually in States. So he comes once in 3 months or once in 4 months, 6 months like that. So with that only 2 doctors, myself and Dr. Kailash Rao, were the 2 orthopedic specialists to take care of the entire orthopedic population here. So we started like that in 2006. So we were not sure where we are going to head, what type of patients we are going to get, what type of surgeries we are going to do. So we are not sure. Even though we know what we are trying to do, but we don't know what type of surgeries that is going to come up here, because it's a rural population, and moreover this is a free institution. People from all over the country are going to come here. And as we started rolling, so usually we started with some simple surgeries, to go with. Then slowly we got the patients with lot of complications and complicated deformities, complicated orthopedic diseases, complicated orthopedic trauma. So one by one slowly rolled. So we started with outpatient and the operation room. Then we established the emergency department. About a year back, year after the start of the orthopedic department, emergency department came up. Then the entire operation theatre was expanded. We started with 2, that wasn't enough, so we got the 3rd one. And also we got the post-operative ICU. Now what you see, the entire orthopedic theatre complex here is exclusively dedicated to orthopedics. In very few hospitals in the country, you find an exclusively dedicated orthopedic operation theatre complex. So that is the advantage that we have here. So perhaps now this is the biggest operation theatre complex in the entire hospital what we have. So that way our work got multiplied over a period of time. What we had about 50, 60, in no time became 150. What 150 became 300 in no time. So in 2008, few more doctors joined in. So because doctors were seeing what these guys are going to do. Understand? So once the work got established, you got the doctors in. They also got interested in the type of work that we are doing. And the doctors started pouring in. And finally we were approved for the postgraduate training by the Diplomate of National Board, the National Board of Examinations. Within 2 years. Within 2 years of starting the department, we got the NBE approval for postgraduate training. So junior doctors also started. What started with 2 and 3 doctors, now we are standing at about 12 and 18 doctors. So that is the magnanimity which the department has grown. What we started with 50, now has become 150. So it has tripled. The surgeries have tripled. The OPs have tripled. Everything is increasing day by day, probably. So that's the way we are trying to evolve out. So slowly we also evolved out what are the type of operations that we are going to do. We branched out into ourselves what are the areas that we are going to work. So like this, the department is evolved into its many phases. So what started as a humble beginning, without a proper infrastructure, has now become an advanced orthopedic department setup.
In a very short period of time, I should say.
Yeah, yes, in my experience, it's in just 5-6 years we are down the line, and now we are into a well-established orthopedic system. That's a very short period of time. Yeah, you're right.
So what is it that really making this department tick?
Probably, the willingness to work and the unity. And everybody unites as a team here to work. It is not only one person, Dr. Vasuki is working or things like that. The other doctors also, they put in their heads. Only it is oneness, the thought of oneness is working together. That's why it is. And the interest shown by each and every member of the department is making the department to go faster and faster and faster. That willingness to learn, willingness to serve.
Given that we have this encouraging spirit, you probably, as the head of the department, probably have plans about to taking the department forward. So where do you see this department in probably say 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, probably see what we were there 5 years back. Now we are training the junior doctors here so that they will become the competent orthopedic surgeons. Now we are looking into the areas where we can train the orthopedic surgeons themselves. You get an orthopedic surgeon here, train them in a particular field of work, like a joint replacement. Make him a pakka in a joint replacement, make him a pakka in a pediatric orthopedic surgery. So like the fellowship programs, what we call. So we are trying into fellowship programs, and also we are trying to know more and more into a research area with the university what we have now, so that we can contribute substantially to the field of orthopedics. That's what we are trying. So our main focus is the training of junior orthopedic surgeons, streamlining the each and every specialities in orthopedics. So orthopedics itself has got so many subspecialties. So we are streamlining the each and every subspecialty, and probably the main focus will be on the research and learning. So what we can contribute to the developing orthopedic field by means of research and training. Now we have started the chondrocyte culture, cell culture lab. Probably this is the only department in our country which has got a cell culture lab attached to the Department of Orthopedics. No other department in this country has got a cell culture lab attached. So this says the future of the department. So probably into more and more advanced areas we are trying to march into.
Finally, I just want to ask you, you've been here in the hospital for 5-6 years now. From what I have seen of you, you're always so full of energy and someone who doesn't seem to have any regrets about working in this place. How does it feel working here? You would have worked in different hospitals. From the time you have been here, what is it that motivates you to come to this hospital to work every morning?
Of course, the one thing that we have is, what you are thinking, the main aim here is the patient. So you can give whatever the patient deserves to have it, whether he is poor, rich, low in socioeconomic status, higher in status, doesn't matter here. So he will get the complete treatment what he needs. So as a doctor, you are not biased. You are not biased. So everybody is a VIP here. So the system is like that. Everybody is a very important person for you. So you can render your services completely to a patient. You cannot say you don't have money, go home. No. There is no thing like this. So you can render your complete services to the patient and see that he becomes better. So what a doctor wants ultimately, what he desires, whatever he can give best to the patient can be done here, because cost is not a factor. Second, the thing is learning. The enthusiasm to learn always stays with the doctor, because medical science every day it evolves. It is not a dead science at all. Every day you have a new concept, new things coming up, so that interests you what you do. So this is the type of motivation that you have, the willingness to serve the society as much as you can. Whatever you have gained, give it back. That's the only motive that we have. Give it back in a proper way, not just for sake of giving it back. So here you can say it's a free hospital, but we are not treating the patient for the sake of treating. Understand? The treatment is also in a very highly regarded professional way. So that gives you the encouragement. Also that gives the motive for you, so that as a doctor you have a potential, or you have the ability to become a complete professional. And the second aspect is, of course, we are all spiritually also we are motivated. We have that type of spiritual atmosphere here. You have your colleagues, you have the administration. Everybody seems to have that type of one motive, that is serving the Lord. Only one can get an opportunity in his life, probably once, or only once, is serving the Lord, which is the ultimate thing. What else you want? So this keeps you going. This keeps you going.
ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपदान्धवा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे मातपिता गुरुदैवमु मरि अन्तयु नीवे स्वामी मरि अन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्रशयन ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी हो साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंधुको मंगल आरती अंधुको मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की